Alright, hello and welcome to everyone. Today our guest is MMA fighter Parker Porter. So, Parker, can you please say a few words about yourself so we can continue? Go for it, please.
Yeah, I've been a professional MMA fighter for 14 years now. I've fought in Bellator a couple of times. Still actively pursuing my goals of being a one of the signed big league fighters. I currently hold the reality fighting heavyweight championship belt. I'm looking to pick up another one for CES. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, man.
Excellent, excellent. When did you start training MMA? When was your first experience?
uh, Back in 2006, I started training mixed martial arts. And I just got into it to kind of like mix up my workouts. I didn't really have any intention of actually fighting or anything like that. And then my coach at the time, after a while, he was like, "You're kind of good at it. Do you want to give it a shot?" And I was like, I was like 21, 22 years old. I'm like, "Yeah, let's roll the dice. Let's see how this works." And I won my first fight, and I haven't looked back since.
Excellent. About your fighting style, I watched some of your fights. I'd say you're all-around fighter. Am I right or not?
I think that would best describe me. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable anywhere in the fight. I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I've been working a lot of wrestling, especially lately. And I'm a pretty solid kickboxer as well. So I
Excellent.
uh, I think I'm pretty comfortable all around.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Do you have a nickname?
No, I don't have a nickname. I'm one of those rare fighters with no nickname.
You didn't even think of some potential nickname. Did it come to your mind, or you're just alright? I'm Parker Porter, and that's it.
Yeah, I've always just been Parker Porter. Like even growing up, a lot of my friends had nicknames for each other and stuff, just goofing around. And I was the one kid in the whole group that had no nickname. And I was like, guys, how come I don't get a nickname? And they're like, your name's Parker Porter. It's already a nickname. I was like, all right, fair.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got my nickname from the fans, so I'm kinda feeling weird, but okay. Some rare fighters don't have nickname. For example, Modestas Bukauskas doesn't have a nickname. Now he
Right,
meets Vinicius Moreira, he doesn't have a nickname.
right. Not everybody has one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm one of those few guys that doesn't have a nickname.
Who are your coaches?
Who are my coaches?
Yes.
I Russell Leak and Underdog Mixed Martial Arts. My wrestling, I have several wrestling coaches: Kia Galampour, Josh Kaplan, Chris Samboy, Marcus Furs is one of the latest wrestling addition to Underdog over there. Um, Strength and conditioning, I work a lot with John Durrett. All pretty much in house at Underdog Mixed Martial Arts.
Excellent. Can you discuss your first amateur fight and the toughest amateur opponent? Do you remember that?
I never fought amateur.
You
I
didn't?
never. Yeah, no. My first fight was a pro fight right off the bat. We're talking 12 years ago, 13, 14 years ago, and there wasn't as much information out there about the sport as it is now. It wasn't nearly as big as it is. Like I had my first fight shortly after the season premiere of The Ultimate Fighter, like the very first season. So there was very little information out there. There wasn't a whole lot of um, promotions, especially in Connecticut. It didn't even get legalized in the state that I live in until just last year. So we always had to travel out of state, and everything was really kind of like very secretive and cloak and dagger, and there just wasn't a ton of information out there. So nobody even knew about amateur events going on. So I was just like, well, like, we'll go straight to pro. Why not? I'll get paid while I'm doing it too.
Yeah, why not? So, how was your first professional fight back then?
It was good. I mean, I look back on it now and I'm like, oh, terrible, sloppy, disgusting. But I pretty much won my first fight on just being tough and having good cardio. And I just kind of outgassed my opponent to the point where he couldn't even keep his hands up anymore. And I knocked him out in the third round.
What can you say about John Jones as the opponent?
I can't say much. The fight was very short. I think it was like 36 seconds. But yeah, I mean, it was quick, and it was a long time ago too. That was my first and only fight that I ever tried to cut down to 205 to make light heavyweight, and it was an absolute miserable experience. And I was still a half pound over what the allowance was, but they still let it happen.
How did you finish Mark Hoxie? Did I pronounce well?
Yes, that was very good, Mark
Yeah.
Hoxie. Yes. I finished him by I believe the record states it was um, stoppage via strikes. Yeah. So he took a shot at me in the first round. I sprawled out, kind of took his back, spun around, and started teeing off with punches from the back, and went for an Americana at one point, and then he rolled back over again, and I think he tapped it due to strikes.
Your first rear naked choke was against Libin, right?
Correct. Yeah.
How did you put your hand under the chin and secure the grip?
So I just the opening was just kind of there when I went for it. We came out, we were fighting, we were kind of exchanging a little bit, and he threw this big left kick at my head, and I remember blocking it, and he was kind of slow to bring his leg back down to the ground. So I used that to my advantage, and I kind of rushed him and got him off balance while he was only on one leg. Got him down to the ground. We did a little bit of ground and pound, and I remember I caught him with an elbow, which I later found out talking to him after the fight that elbow right under his eye kind of like stunned him a little bit, and he was kind of like out of it, which allowed me to really kind of easily take his back and sink in that rear naked choke.
What do you think about Gabriel Salinas Jones as an opponent?
We fought twice. The record shows that he we fought in Florida and the time that he beat me, and the time before that we fought in Northern Cyprus, and I had won a decision. We'd gone all 3 rounds. I think he's a good opponent. I think he's a tough guy. Um, I got no problem with him, but I would love to get that third rubber match where we could really kind of settle the score and figure out who's got the better hand.
Yeah, trilogy fights are always very entertaining, no matter of the promotion. Absolutely agree. What do you think about Gabriel Gonzaga as the opponent? Because some people say Gabriel Gonzaga is a scary dude. Some people say that Gabriel Gonzaga is a guy with very poor cardio. So what's true?
Um, he's both. I mean, he's scary. He obviously he's big, he's strong. I don't think his cardio is as good as it could be. But whose is? Like everybody could always be working better on their cardio, especially at heavyweight. But his ground game is insane. Like his jujitsu is second to none in my opinion. And we that fight was that was a really good fight. We were coming out, we had some really good exchanges. I think I was getting the better of him on the feet in the beginning, but this was before he started working on his boxing and his Muay Thai a little more. And he tagged me and stunned me enough to get me down to the ground. Which, once we were on the ground, he's been a black belt, winning world championships as a black belt um, since before I started even training jujitsu. I was a purple belt at the time, I think. So it was it was not even close in competition when it came to that part of things.
What can you say about your Bellator fights?
Um, the one against Josh Diekman, nothing but respect for the guy. I feel like I got overzealous. I rocked him with a shot, and I came in with my hands down, and he caught me and capitalized on that. And I'd love to get that fight back, but it's nothing personal. It's just everybody wants to kind of erase their losses off of their record, so to speak. Um, but yeah, I got kind of trigger happy, and I made a mistake by coming in with my hands down and getting sloppy and swinging wild, and he was able to capitalize on that. Um, as far as the Eric Bernard fight goes, that was a great fight. We had some really good exchanges back and forth with the hands. That was actually so I have pretty good kicks, but that was the first fight that I'd ever actually thrown like head kicks in. Um, and I was kind of disappointed in myself for not starting to throw head kicks sooner. But that was a great fight, Eric. You know, like most of these guys that I end up fighting, we are other local guys. There's not a ton of competition in the immediate area, especially at heavyweight. So a lot of us know each other, and some of us have even trained with each other at some points or another. But I've never had a bad experience with any of these guys, win or lose afterwards. So it's always been kind of nice because the camaraderie is it's second to none. You know, like we're in there beating the snot out of each other, and 10 minutes later we're like, "Hey man, you okay? You want to go grab a beer?" You know.
What can you say about Kate Bell controversy?
Oof. Ah, I'm obviously very unhappy about that situation because, I think the fight should have been stopped before the punch to the back of the head ever got thrown, but it didn't, and unfortunately, things went the way they did. I know for a fact that I've talked to Keith about it afterwards, and he had broken his hand in that fight against me. And it's a little frustrating because, like I said, everybody always wants to erase as many losses off of their record as they can. And if it weren't for that fight going the way that it did, I would be currently riding a 5-fight win streak, all with finishes. So, I'm a little bitter about it, but what are you gonna do? That's life.
Yeah, alright. How did you finish Kevin Sears?
I finished Kevin Sears with an Americana. I mean, a Kimura from the top.
Okay.
It was it was in the third round. We came out. We had some good exchanges, but he he just left himself exposed. I tried to get him in a guillotine a couple of times up against the fence with a standing guillotine, and he was able to slide his body weight down. At which point I started to work more just kind of like top control and some ground and pound stuff. And then he exposed his arm, and one of my bread and butter submissions is the Kimura, whether it's from the top or from the bottom, and that's exactly what I got him in. I got him locked it up and just went right to town on it.
Can you pinpoint to the greatest difference between locking Kimura from the top and Americana from the top? Where is that critical
Well,
difference?
the Kimura bends the arm down this way.
Okay?
The Americana bends the arm back this way.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when is the perfect timing to go for the Kimura? Which is the perfect position of the top? Is it side control or something else?
Um, His side control is definitely the best. I've managed to get that same arm lock from side control, from bottom full guard, from I've gotten it from half guard before. Like I've managed to be able to get it from some pretty funky angles. But ideally, in the perfect world would be side control.
Yeah. I never realized how Derek Lewis escaped Ivanov's American attempt. I don't know whether you saw it or not. It was like here completely and he just scrambled up. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
He managed to he must not have had like enough pressure or had the pressure just the right way to keep him from rolling, but he rolled right out of it. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, it was outstanding escape and to be honest, I didn't know Derek Lewis has that good submission defense. I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you finish, correct me if I'm wrong, Dearly Bronstrap?
No, that was perfect. We had that was a great fight. We had a real banger of a fight there. We came back and forth. I knocked him down in the first round, and he managed to get back up. As I get more experience, I don't get quite as trigger happy when I smell blood in the water, so to speak. So I take my time, and I'm not quite looking to just go for the killing blow ASAP. But we I knocked him down in the first round. We had some really good exchanges back and forth. He's a tough guy. He knocked me down in this end of the first round as well, I think, and I was able to scramble back to my feet. Then second round, I caught one of his kicks, and I was trying to work some ground and pound, but he's just a big, strong dude. And then it came out in the third round, and we kept going at it. He caught me with some good elbows right down the middle, right on the forehead. He was tall. I'm 6 foot even. He was about 6'3", I think. So he was able to come right over the top with those elbows a lot of times, pretty smoothly. And I was just exhausted. But I ended up catching him with a kind of a lazy left hook in the end of the third round. It just big loopy power left hook caught him right on the chin. He just kind of folded right up.
In heavyweight division, you mentioned that cardio might be one of the greatest problems. So, what do you think? Why the majority of heavyweight fighters don't have? Well, I don't want to sound bad, but don't have good cardio.
We're big and we're lazy. A lot of guys are lazy. They don't like to they like to go for the power shots, like big guys in general, in life in general, don't have to work as hard because everything's easier for the bigger guy. Lifting heavy things is usually easier. And then, when it comes to the fights, they go for the knockout. They swing hard. They've got all this big power, and then when they can't knock somebody out, they've expended all this energy, and they're not used to not dropping people with each shot. So they don't always have their backup plan of having good cardio.
But for example, if a cardio machine appears, will he have an advantage or not? What do you think? In heavyweight.
I think anybody with good cardio, like cardio is the end all beat all. This sport in general is very dependent on having a good gas tank. But when I say cardio, I don't just mean your ability to be able to run for a long time or just
MMA
hit
cardio,
the.
yes.
But for an MMA fight, for cardio, there's a lot that goes into that, and I think that's one of the other aspects of it that's difficult is, it's there's so many different energy systems that come into play when you're fighting, and you need to be able to recover. Like that's the biggest thing that people need to be able to do when they explode and they're doing their cardio work is they need to be able to focus on recovering from high energy and high effort output as quickly as they can.
Right now, Corona is creating big problems. So, do you have some future plans, or I mean, I know you're ready, you're prepared all the time, or so. But do you have some plans, or did you got some offers, invitations?
We haven't had anything come yet, but my manager did just tell me, I was like, hey, make sure that you're training and you're ready because things are starting to get put into the works now for promotions coming up in the next couple of months. We are just actually opening our gym back up tomorrow since everything got shut down. It's been almost 3 months now since everything was closed. It's been 3 months since everything was closed down. Now we're opening back up tomorrow in a very limited capacity. So it's been tough to find good training. I also at home I have a pregnant wife we're gonna have a baby next month. So I've had to be even more careful and cautious about everything. I know some of my friends have been able to just kind of go and train and do whatever they want because they don't really have anything to worry about at home, or they live with it's just them and their girlfriend and their dog or something like that. Whereas like I've got my two sons already that are 7 years old, just turned 7, and I've got another baby on the way. So I got a little more to be cautious about, but I've been doing what I can. For a little while, I think I was making my wife crazy. I had a squat rack set up in our living room, some weights, and I drilled my speed bag into the beam on the living room hallway, so I could at least do some workouts and get some bag work in and keep sharp. But we're going to be able to get back to full training soon enough.
Well, people have to find their own way through this crisis. For example, I got inspiration from Wilson Hayes and started training in my home. And right now, I mean, in my country it kind of works, but also limited capacities and so on. So better not risk.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Would you please like to add something, greet someone, maybe send some message? Maybe something we didn't say.
No, I think I got everything covered, man. I mean, this is well, I'm excited to get back to everything going again. Like I said, like you said, the corona has really kind of messed everything up and really thrown a big wrench in the gears of it all. I was supposed to fight last month, that obviously got canceled and derailed, and I've just been kind of trying to keep the ball rolling and really make that push towards getting that UFC contract or that Bellator contract or that ONE FC contract, or just getting to that next level and keeping the ball rolling. So I'm excited to get back at it. Is really what it is.
Thank you so much for this interview. I will now put a link on creation. I hope in few hours it will be online. I will message you.
Okay, wonderful.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you so much for this chance and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.